I'm older than I look, I suppose. So definitely give it a shot. Do what?
13.
Yeah, 13. Just turned 13 today. It's my birthday. No, my birthday was a couple of days ago, but I'm 25, I guess. Not quite 13. So yeah, definitely give it a shot with some tools and tinker around in your garage and try to avoid getting tetanus. That's definitely something you don't want.
I need a hat.
You need a hat?
You, sir, are wearing a hat.
I am indeed wearing a hat.
This is a momentous occasion.
Oh yes, the de-hatting. Oh my God, look at his head. It's not too terrible. Paranoid, I guess. Anyway, what do you need my hat for? Those cups are not big enough for the tickets. How dare they? So, where were we? We talked about the percussion pistols. Where'd she go? She's still showing them off. Excellent, excellent. And, yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about the jetpack if you want to turn it around, Meredith. This jetpack, which we created by modifying a missile carrying case that we purchased at a Army Navy surplus store. And yeah, it's a plastic container that was designed by the military for the specific use of carrying rocket-propelled devices of destruction. So we've added some shoulder straps. What are you guys doing? Oh, having trouble storing the flag. Careful. Yeah, go ahead and walk around. And to that carrying case, we have added all number of pieces of junk, cut up pieces of toys, little brass things that we just find. A lot of the stuff that we use, quite frankly, we don't even know what it is. We just shop around and we're like, hey, that thing looks pretty cool. I think it would look neat if I attached it to some other crap. So, you don't even really have to necessarily know what you're doing, because one of the particular styles of creation that we employ is very much along the lines of back in the day when we would create things with Legos. You just kind of start with pieces and you just kind of start putting them together and see like what looks good together. You might have an idea in your head, and then once you kind of get the pieces, you're like, oh, that doesn't work out so well. So you got to be more organic and more fluid in your creative process and just kind of see what comes out of what you're doing. And so that particular piece was a very much a fluid, organic sort of thing that just kind of evolved as we found pieces to put on it. So it's got some motor parts from a fan, and I think there might be some pod racer pieces in there or something. So, you know, you can use anything from anywhere. It really just depends on how you present it and how you fix it up. And with that piece in particular, one of the best ways to present a nice piece is with a good paint job. And we always recommend that you sand extensively with any paint job, because otherwise the paint tends to just crack and peel right off. You give it a nice sand job with some smooth grit sandpaper. And we always recommend the use of Rust-Oleum's Outdoor Metallics line of spray paint because they're just so delicious. And they have a myriad of flavors from antique brass, metallic, gold rush metallic, midnight black metallic, metallic charcoal, and they all look really good together. And that's really one of the things that we really try to pay attention to is color relationships. Back in the day when I was taking drawing painting classes at UGA, I had a color theory class. It was a really helpful class because a lot of the things about color theory you'd really never think of. So really pay attention to color relationships, and that particular line of spray paint is just perfect because they all work really well together. And I think they have some of those crackled, hammered spray paints now that are pretty cool too. We used some of the hammered copper on the base of the jetpack itself. The two knobs at the top are actually made of an incredibly durable and dense styrofoam. And if you've ever tried to spray paint styrofoam, you've probably realized that it will most likely culminate in epic and utter disaster and failure. What happens is that the aerosol in spray paint causes the styrofoam to dissolve and melt and wither and shrivel up and bubble and release cyanide gas. It's a mess. You don't want to deal with it. So what you got to do is you got to seal that with some sort of brush-on acrylic or Bondo. Bondo is a really interesting thing that you can buy in the automotive section at Walmart. You gotta make sure that you use this stuff in a very, very, very well ventilated area, because you will see the future and you won't like it. It's gonna be a bleak apocalyptic vision of the future. Colors, not good, not good. Make sure well ventilated area, because the fumes that come out of that can, it's a metaphysical experience that you should probably avoid.
Sounds like fun.
It's not fun. You would think that it sounds fun, but I'm telling you, it's not fun. It's fun for a moment, and then you're like, I'm gonna try to stand up. And then you're like, oh, let me peel my face off the ground. So, not good. So Bondo is a two-part polymer that you use to repair car body damage, and it's really nice because you mix it up, it's really hard, it's really durable. It's really great for props because you can sand it, you can grind on it with a Dremel tool or other such tools like that, and you can spray paint it really well. So I definitely recommend Bondo, and they also have another product called Filler Putty, which is just a one-part. Like Bondo normally comes in a big can in a little tube, and it's like 10 parts of one to 1 part of the other, and kind of a chemistry experiment. But the Filler Putty is good for just filling in little cracks and tiny little abrasions and things like that, because it just comes in a tube and it dries by air. It's not a chemical reaction, and it also doesn't smell like something that you would expect to be emanating from Satan or some other demons in hell. So you don't have to worry about that so much, which is nice. So yeah, the jetpack is it's one of our favorite little props, especially because the bottom little caps twist off, and you can fit water bottles or bottles of some other fluid of your choice up there. All kinds of things can be stored, and that's one thing that we always try to keep in mind, is where can we hide all of our alcohol and our costumes. But do so responsibly, I will say. That's the ticket. Okay, so go ahead and show off the, let's start with the chest plate there. The chest plate, my vest plate, when I started to design the armor for my costume, I wanted to combine some medieval armor concepts with Victorian menswear, like men's formal fashion. So I designed my breastplate after a vest. So if you'll notice, the bottom edge it's got the little scallop in the middle like it was a vest that was buttoned up. And it has those two little hatches on the sides there, which have little brass latches and little knobs and little hinges to be reminiscent of pockets that you would see on a men's vest. So I keep my pocket watch in there and my little pouch of pipe tobacco or whatnot. The vest plate I created from orthopedic polypropylene, which is an interesting little sort of plastic that we stumbled across in our dumpster diving expeditions. It's apparently used to make casts. I would never have guessed. I just looked inside of a dumpster and I saw what looked like 1,000 ground up stormtroopers. When you see a find that sweet, you don't question it. You just fill your car up with it and you drive away. So, it can be a bit problematic because of how flexible it is. It's very, very problematic to paint. It doesn't really like spray paint because as it flexes, even if you sand it, the spray paint just cracks off and then you start crying and punching the walls.